Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Sadguru Charanaravindaabhyam Namaha. Brahma Sutras, Chapter 2, Avirodha Adhyayaha. Smrityadhikaranam. Smrityanavakasha dosha prasangaha iti chet na अन्यस्मृत्यनवकाश दोष प्रसंगात इतरेषां च अनुपलब्धेः योग प्रत्युक्ताधिकरणम् एतेन योग प्रत्युक्तः विलक्षणत्वाधिकरणम् न विलक्षणत्वादस्य तथात्पञ्च शब्दात् अभिमानि व्यपदेशस्तु विशेष अनुगतिभ्यां दृश्यते तु असदिति चेत् न प्रदिशेत मात्रत्वात् अपीतौ तद्वत् प्रसंगात् असमंजसं न तु दृष्टान्त भावात् स्वपक्षदोषाच्च तर्का प्रतिष्ठानात् अप्यन्यथा अनुमेयमिति चेत् एवमपि अनिर्मोक्ष प्रसंगः शिष्टा परिग्रहाधिकरणम् एतेन शिष्टा परिग्रह अपि व्याख्याताः भोक्त्रापत्यधिकरणम् भोक्त्रापत्तेः अविभागश्चेत् स्याल्लोकवत् आरम्भणाधिकरणम् तदनन्यत्वम् आरम्भणशब्दादिभ्यः भावेचोपलब्धेः सत्वाचावरस्य असत्व्यपदेशात् नेति चेत् न धर्मान्तरेण वाक्यशेषात् युक्तेः शब्दान्तराच्च पटवच्च यथा च प्राणादि इतर व्यपदेशाधिकरणम् इतर व्यपदेशात् हित अकरणादि दोष प्रसक्तिः अधिकं तु भेदनिर्देशात् अस्मादिवच्च तत् अनुपपत्तिः उपसंहार दर्शनाधिकरणम् उपसंहार दर्शनान्येति चेत् न क्षीरवद्धीं देवादिवत् अपि लोके कृत्स्न प्रसक्त्यधिकरणम् कृत्स्न प्रसक्तिः निरवयवत्व शब्दकोपो वा श्रुतेस्तु शब्दमूलत्वात् आत्मनि चैवं विचित्राश्च हि. We saw to this sutra in the last class. Now we will go to Sutra 29, the 163rd running Brahma Sutra. Swapaksha doshacha. Swapaksha doshacha. So the objection raised in Sutra 26 is further refuted here. Shankaracharya, he defended the Vedantic teaching against the objections raised by Sankhya and Nyaya philosophers, as we saw. And what was their primary objection? Just to refresh, if Brahman is Nityam, it cannot be Karanam. And if Brahman is Karanam, it cannot be Nityam. Because Karanam destroys itself to produce any Karyam effect. As given in the example of Kshiravadhi, the 23rd Sutra, we have seen this at that time itself. These are their arguments. So to put it in a simple language, Karanatvam and Nityatvam cannot coexist. Karanatvam and Nityatvam cannot coexist. This was their main objection. Therefore, Brahman cannot be both Nityam and Karanam. And this was defended by us. Yesterday we saw. And we said it is possible and Brahman can be both Nityam and Karanam. And only thing that we need to note is what? It is Vivarta Karanam and Nityam and not Parinami Karanam and Nityam. Parinami Karanam and Nityam cannot coexist. But Vivarta Karanam and Nityatvam can coexist, we saw yesterday. This was the answer we gave in the last class based on the first format. I said that there are two formats we are going to discuss. This is the first format. Now, having defended ourselves, now Vyasacharya, he attacks the Purva Pakshis. He asks, what is the problem according to you? He says Prakriti and not Brahman, not Purusha is the Karana. According to them, Pradhanam or Prakriti is the Karana. Na Prakritir, na Vikritihi, Purushaha is the Sankhya Karika. Sankhya Karika, na Prakritir, na Vikritihi, Purushaha. So Purusha is not a Karanam at all. Prakriti alone or Pradhanam alone is Karana. Then we ask the question to them, is your Prakriti Nityam or Anityam? Now the Purvapakshi says, my Prakriti is Nityam and Karana. But when I say Brahman is both Nityam and Karanam, you bring so many problems. Now Vyasacharya asks, how can you charge me with the same defect? And now my question is, in whatever way you solve your problem, in the same way, I will solve also my problem. So if there is no contradiction in Prakriti being Nityam and Karanam, so also there should be no contradiction in Brahman being Nityam and Karanam also. Therefore, both are equal. Then Sankhya may argue, I am happy that you agree that we both are equal. Then we say, even though we both are equal logically, we are more equal than you. We have got an advantage. We have Shruti support, which you do not have. Because Shruti, Veda says, Brahman is Jagat Karanam. As we saw in Taittiriya Upanishad, Yato va imani bhutani jayante, imani bhutani jayante. Therefore, my teaching has got Shruti Pramanam, Yukti Pramanam, which you don't have. Therefore, Swapaksha Dosha. This is called Swapaksha Dosha. Then similarly, we go to the Nyaya philosophers also. Because he also tells the same thing. Brahman cannot be both Karanam and Nityam. Then we ask him the question. And he says, Paramanu or atom is the Karana. Then we ask him whether that Paramanu is Nityam and Karanam or not. He says Paramanu is Nityam and Karanam. His Paramanu also enjoys both Nityatvam and Karanatvam. Then we ask, why do you blame us? Then we say, Brahman is both Nityam and Karana. Therefore, your Paksha, your side has problem. In my side, in my Paksha, there is no problem because Vivarta Karanam and Nityatvam can coexist. Parinami Karanam and Nityatvam cannot, that we agree, but Vivarta Karanam and Nityatvam can coexist. At least if he accepts Vivarta Karanam and Nityam, we can accept it. But he says only Parinami Karanam and Nityatvam only will coexist. That is full of loopholes. This is the essence of the sutra. Now let us see the meaning, word meanings. The word cha means moreover, in addition. Swapaksha doshat, because of the fallacies. Doshas, because of the fallacies in their own systems. And then we have to complete the sentence. Their objections are not valid. That is not said in the sutra. We have to supply that. Their objections are not valid. Okay. Now let us see the significance of the words. Swa plus paksha plus dosha. That is the three words that are there. Swapaksha dosha. Swa plus paksha and dosha. Swa means their own. Those very people who criticize Advaita. So they are Vedanta critics. And who are those people? Sankhya and Yoga. They say that Prakriti or Pradhanam is Nityam and Karanam. And the Nyaya and Vaiseshika philosophers, they say that Paramanu, atom, is Nityam and Karanam. And whereas we say neither Paramanu nor Prakriti or Pradhanam is Karanam and Nityam, but we say Brahman alone is both Karanam and Nityam. And when we accept Brahman's Karanatvam, we also have to note, very important, when we say Brahman's Karanatvam, we should note it is Vyavaharike Drishtya Brahmanaha Karanatvam. Parantu Paramarthika Drishtya, from the angle of Paramarthika Drishti, as we saw in the Mandukya Karika Vaititya Prakaranam, chapter 2, sloka 32. We have seen this in detail when we did Mandukya Upanishad and the Karika. Na nirodho na chodpattir na baddhe na cha sadakaha Na mumukshurna vaimukta ityesha paramarthatha. There is no dissolution, na nirodha, no nacha utpattihi, no birth, no bondage, na baddha, na satakaha, aspiring for wisdom, no seeker, na mumukshuho of liberation, and nobody vaimuktaha. There is nobody who is liberated also. This is the absolute truth. So Shankaracharya writes a beautiful commentary on this. This is very important shloka to show that there are two orders of reality. Vedantin's strong point is there are two orders of reality. Wherever orders of reality comes, it is important for Advaitin because this difference in orders of reality belongs to Advaitic teachings alone. This order difference is not there in Sankhya philosophy, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Dvaita, Dvaita Vedanta, or even Visishtadvaita Vedanta. For Visishtadvaita, Swapna is also real, dream is real, rope snake is also real, mirage water is real, shell silver is also real. Therefore, there is no question of sand being a higher order of reality and mirage water a lower order of reality for them in Visishtadvaita. Why? Because they only talk about one order of reality. And this argument has Shruti support, while others don't have Shruti support for us. So the order difference is not found in any of the other systems except Advaita. With this, the Krishna Prakriti Adhikaranam, the 9th Adhikaranam of the second chapter, first pada, is over. It's a very, very important Adhikaranam. And just on the side, this is on the side, but it's important to note this. This discussion of the order of reality, especially with respect to, for example, mirage water or rope snake, all these things, this is called by the name Khyati Vadaha. We have already mentioned this in some other context earlier. We carefully avoided this topic because it is too much hair splitting. What is the status of rope snake? We can discuss the status of creation later. Let us first understand the status of rope snake. This rope snake discussion itself is a very big discussion. This is called a Khyati Vadaha, as I told. Khyati means cognition. It's knowledge, jnanam. What cognition it is? Actually, we just mentioned about Khyati-vada in a different context, as I told earlier. Cognition or perception of snake, rope snake. Cognition or perception of snake is the topic. In what category it comes is the discussion. What is the status of the cognition or perception? And what is the status of cognized object, like the rope snake or mirage water or even the dream? What is the status of all of them? And each philosopher has got one's own theory. And they call it theories of error. They are all error theories. And one person will say the other's theory of error is erroneous. All are error theories. And this person says the other person's error theory is erroneous. My theory of error only is the correct theory of error. Very, very big discussion. And what are the various kyatis? What are they given by a sloka here? I think I mentioned this long ago earlier. Atma kyatira sat kyatihi kyati kyatir anyatam tata nirvachana kyatihi ityetat kyati panchakam. There are 5 different kyatis are mentioned, and they talk about all these 5 theories of error maintained by the Nyaya, Vaiseshika philosophers, Buddha philosophers, etc. And the interesting thing is, Visishtadvaitin did not accept all the 5, and he introduced his own 6th theory, which is called Satkyatihi. For them, rope snake is as real as the rope itself. So when we discuss the orders of reality, unknowingly or unwittingly, we enter into Kyativada. And in the rope snake itself, there is no agreement. If there is no agreement in the rope snake itself, how can we ever have the agreement with respect to creation, Srishti? If at all we come to an agreement in this rope snake Kyativada between Dvaitin and Visishtadvaitin, then we can see about creation. Even there we don't have any solution. But there is difference of opinion in rope snake itself. And the Advaitin's approach is called Anirvachaniya Kyatihi. It's another Kyati. Anirvachaniya Kyatihi, which is called the two orders of reality here. Visishtadvaitin's approach is called Satkyatihi. This is an aside discussion only, but I need to mention this because this is a very important topic, which we had the scope of discussion in Adhyasa Bhashyam. We touched on that. In fact, Adhyasa Bhashyam is based on Arambanadhikaranam and Krishna Prasakti Adhikaranam. And Visishtadvaitin will not accept Adhyasa Bhashyam itself because Adhyasa Bhashyam is establishing Anirvachaniya Kyatihi. Because he goes with the theory of Satkyatihi. So, Anirvachaniya Kyatihi, which is fundamentally different. Therefore, this is a very, very important topic, as I mentioned in Vedanta. It's only an incidental point. We are not going to discussions of error theories, but just only I wanted to mention. Now, let us go to the next Adhikaranam, the 10th Adhikaranam. And this is called Sarvopeta Adhikaranam. Sarvopeta Adhikaranam, the 10th Adhikaranam. And the first sutra is Sarvopeta cha Taddarshanat. That is why the Adhikaranam is named after the first word of the sutra, first sutra. Sarvopeta cha Taddarshanat. This is the 30th sutra of the first pada of second chapter, 164th running Brahma Sutra. Here also the objection in Sutra 26 is being further refuted. This is the 10th Adhikaranam, as I mentioned, with only 2 sutras. It's a small Adhikaranam with only 2 sutras. I will first give the general introduction to this Adhikaranam. Here, Vyasacharya wants to establish that Brahman has got Ananta Shakti. Ananta Shakti. That means it is not difficult for Brahman to create anything because he has got Ananta Shakti, infinite Shakti he has. He can create anything. That Ananta Shakti is called Maya Shakti or Prakriti. And because of that, Brahman becomes Sarva Shaktiman Ishwaraha. And when we say this, one should not get any fundamental question here. We take them for granted. When we say Brahman has got Ananta Shakti because of Maya, which is responsible for Ananta Shakti, which is part of Brahman, happens to be of lower order of reality. All these things should be immediately understood. Brahman is Advaitam only. Whatever is lower order cannot be counted. Maya cannot be counted. This is the basic approach. So we will talk about Maya, but we will not count it as another entity. It is like a mirror image. We will talk about because it is experienceable. I can see a image in the mirror. When I lift my hand, it also lifts. But it is not countable as an independent entity. Therefore, when we say Advaitam, we don't count Maya. Not because Maya is non-existent, but because Maya is of a lower order of reality. And with the help of Maya, Brahman becomes Sarva Shaktimat. And because of Sarva Shakti, Brahman can create everything. As we saw in Taittiriya Upanishad, Tasmadva etasmad atmana akasha sambhutaha. Generally, once Brahman enjoys this creator status, we conventionally use the term Ishvara. When Brahman is associated with the creator status, we use the name Ishvara. But here we use the word Brahman for consistency only. But we can put it in our mind, in this context, Brahman is equal to Ishvara. And what is the proof for that? That we have already said in the beginning itself. Brahman is apaurushaya vishayaha. It is beyond the human means of knowledge. Therefore, whatever we say is based only on Shruti Pramanam, Veda Pramanam. And because the entire Brahma Sutra is for what's the purpose? Not to give Vyasacharya's philosophy. He has no philosophy of his own. Vyasacharya has written Brahma Sutra for what purpose? This sloka also we said it in the beginning, in the introduction itself. Vedanta Vakyam Kusumam Gratanartatvat Sutrana. Vedanta Vakyas are like flowers. Vyasacharya only keeps the thread and stitches the flowers of Vedanta Vakyas. Vyasacharya arranges and bundles them. That's all he does. All teachings belong to only Vedanta. The word sutra has two meanings. One is an aphorism, and number two, sutra is a thread. Mangal Sutra is a thread which brings out a beautiful system with the flowers of Vedanta. Therefore, Vyasacharya says, Upanishad itself reveals this fact that Brahman has got Ananta Shakti. Srimad Bhagavad Gita also said, Maya Dyakshena Prakritihi Suyate Sacharacharam Ketuna Anena Kaunteya Jagat Viparivartate. 9th chapter. Lord Krishna says, blessed by me, Maya Dyakshena. The Prakriti creates the entire universe. And the theme of this Adhikaranam is to point out Brahman has got all the resources to produce the creation through Maya. That's understood. It has Ichha Shakti, it has Kriya Shakti, it has Jnana Shakti in itself. And this Shakti alone, we call it as Maya Shakti, and it is not an independent and separate factor at all. And hence we do not count it as a second entity, separate entity. For example, when I refer to a particular person, I do not separately count his various powers. The person has hearing power, he has talking power, he has got so many powers, but I do not separately enumerate each one of them because those powers do not exist separate from the person. Shaktihi Shaktat na binna. Shaktaha means the powerful. Shaktihi the power. So power does not exist separate from the powerful. And therefore, I do not count powerful and power as two entities. Similarly, when I use the word Brahman, all the Shaktis are integrally, inseparably included in Brahman. Therefore, Brahman can be happily, very comfortably, effortlessly be cause of creation. Sarva Shaktimatvat Brahma Jagat Karanam Bhavitum Arhati. And generally, when Brahman is looked along with his power, we use the word Ishvara. When Brahman, that means Maya Sahitam Brahman is called Ishvara. Brahman and Ishvara are not essentially different entities at all. Brahman itself is called Ishvara and Ishvara himself is called Brahman. Along with Maya Shakti, we generally call him as Ishvara. But in Brahma Sutra, we do not use the word Ishvara separately, but we consistently use the word Brahman for Ishvara also. So do not get confused by this. In all these Adhikaranams also, Brahman means Ishvara only. Sarva Shaktimat Brahman is Ishvara alone. The Brahman endowed with all attributes and Shakti is Ishvara only. This is the general introduction for this Adhikarana. Now let us go to the general analysis of the first sutra of this Adhikarana. Here Vyasacharya makes a statement. Brahman has got all the powers. Sarva Shaktimat Brahma. Sarva Shaktiman Ishvaraha or Ananta Shaktimat. That is why some people call it Ananta, on which Lord Vishnu is lying. Ananta Shayanam of Mahavishnu, lying as representing Ananta Shakti. And why it represents Ananta Shakti? Just it's an aside point only, because Ananta is a coiled serpent. And we know anything coiled has got potential power. That is why Prana Shakti is also called Kundalini, which is coiled power. Coil symbolizes unmanifest power. So that is why there are a lot of coils, potential energy stored in coils. And Ananta, on which the Lord is lying, represents Ananta Shakti, which is in potential form. and which is utilized for creation by the Lord. And Vyasacharya gives a pramanam who reveals this also. The only pramanam to talk about Brahman is what? Shruti pramana. Since Brahman being apaurisheya vishaya, any topic about Brahman should be based on apaurisheya pramanam only. So Brahman has got all the qualities as per the Shruti statement. Brahman is free from all the qualities. Here again, it is Shruti pramanam. Then how do we reconcile? We say Brahman has got all the qualities. We also say Brahman is free from all the qualities. How are we going to reconcile? Both have Shruti pramanam. How are we going to reconcile? Their views, our gray matter, it should be there inside. We reconcile this by understanding that qualitylessness, Brahman without quality is qualitylessness, is paramarthika drishtya. From the angle of paramarthika drishti is quality without attributes. And all the qualities are from vyavaharika drishtya. So that drishti bheda, the difference in the angle, is arthapatti pramanena siddham. Knowledge arrived at by postulation or presumption is called arthapatti. And that is an aside topic. When we say Brahman has got all the Shakti, it is based on Shruti Pramanam, based on Vedas. This is the essence of the first sutra. So Brahman is Sarva Shaktimat Shruti Pramanat. And what is the Shruti Pramana kept in mind? There are several Shruti Pramanas kept in mind, and Shankaracharya quotes Chandogya Upanishad Vakyam, 3rd chapter, 14th section, and 4th mantra. Sarva karma, sarva kamaha, sarva gantaha, sarva rasaha, sarva midam. All that things he quotes. Sarva karma, all the actions, or the power of action, they are all in Brahman. Sarva kamaha, sarva gandaha. In short, everything is Brahman. This is the essence of that Chandogya mantra. Then there is another Shruti Valkyam also, which Acharya quotes, Svetasvatara Upanishad, 6th chapter, 8th mantra. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate, natat samaschabhyati kascha drishyate, parasya shaktir vividaiva shruyate, swabhaviki jnana balakriya cha. Very popular mantra. Shankaracharya quotes this very often. In this mantra, the second half is relevant to us. What is that? Parasya shaktir vividaiva shruyate, swabhaviki jnana balakriya cha. Para asya shaktihi, asya brahmanaha shaktihi, the power of this Brahman is para, supreme, infinite, limitless, highest. And not only it is great in terms of intensity, vividayeva shruyate, vividayeva, in varieties also. Because normally, when you take a human being, let us say, this person might have great Shakti in one field or the other. Whereas in the case of Brahman, Vividaha, Brahman has manifold powers. And in each power, Brahman has got gold medals in all of them. In each one of them, Para, he is the supreme, he is the best. And Svetasvatara Upanishad says, Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shruyate, Swabhaviki Jnana Balakriya cha. And Brahman did not undergo any training for this. For a person to get Olympic gold medal right from age 6 and 7, they all train. In the case of Jiva, one has to acquire the power, but Brahman has got inherent power. A Jiva has to acquire the power through sadhana. Brahman's power is Swabhaviki, Nitya Siddha Ananta Shaktimat Brahma. Swabhaviki it is. Thus, Chandogya Upanishad and Shvetasvatara Upanishad are the Shrutis kept in mind when Acharya writes this shloka, this particular sutra. Yes, Acharya. Now we will see the word analysis. First, we will see the running meaning as usual. Cha means moreover. Sarvopeta, Sarvopeta refers to Brahmanaha. He has all the powers. Tad Darshanat, because of the Veda or Shruti's revelation of such nature. Tad Darshana. The Darshanam is given by Shruti. That is, Brahman has got all the powers, is the revelation by the Shruti, by the Vedas. This is the running meaning of this sutra. Now let us see the significance of the words in the sutra. Sarvopeta is a compound word. Sarva and Upeta. Sarva means Sarva Shaktihi, Ananta Shaktihi, consisting of Icha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, all of them. And therefore, Sarva Shakti includes Sarvajñatvam also. Because normally, Sarvajñaha and Sarva Shakti we separately enumerate. And here, Sarvajñatvam also is included, all knowing, all knowledge, in Sarva Shaktimatvam. Because Jnanam also is a form of Shakti only, known as Jnana Shakti, Icha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti. It includes all the strengths and skills, all knowledge, everything required to produce anything. Lord has got everything. Then Upeta means endowed with, possessing. So Sarva Bihi, Shakti Bihi, Upeta, Sarvopeta. Endowed with all the Shakti is Sarvopeta. By that, what Vyasacharya refers is what? That is, Brahman is Sarva Upeta. Now, there is a small grammatical point I will just only mention for those who are interested. The word Brahman is neuter gender. And Sarvopeta is feminine gender. Akaranta Shrilinga. How can we use a feminine adjective for a neuter noun? Further, the answer is given what? The absolute Brahman is known by different names in Vedanta. Sometimes it is called Paramatma. Paramatma is masculine gender. Brahman is neuter. In Chandogya Upanishad, it is also called Devata. Devata also is Brahman. Seyam Devataikshatam Hantaham Imastisro Devataha Anena Jivena Atmananupravishyam Namarupe Vyakaravaniti. 6th chapter, 3rd section, 2nd mantra. Seyam Devata Ikshata, Sa Yam Devata Ikshata. So Devata is a word used for Brahman here in Chandogya. But there is a problem here also. When you use the word Devata, one may think it may be an Adhishtana Devata, like Surya Devata, Chandra Devata, and all that thing, Bagni Devata. Therefore, they add an adjective. They say Paradevata. Paradevata or Paradevata. Brahman refers to Paradevata, or Paradevata refers to Brahman. And Paradevata in Sanskrit is feminine gender also. Therefore, the commentators, they write Paradevata Sarvopeta. I told you Sarvopeta is feminine, Brahman is neuter, but the commentators write here it means Paradevata Sarvopeta. So, while translating, what do we say? Brahman is endowed with infinite powers. Paradevata. And the next is an incidental point. We don't have to put too much emphasis on that. And the next word is Cha. Cha is a conjunction to join the previous adhikarana. Because the topic is the same topic. So to connect with the previous adhikaranam, the conjunction used is Cha. That is, Brahman is Jagat Karanam. And next one is Tad Darshanat. It is also a compound word, Tad plus Darshanat. Tad indicates the Sarva Shaktimatva, Sarva Shakti Upetatva, omnipotence of Brahman. And Darshanat, Darshanat means revealed by Shruti, Vedas. Shruti Vakya Darshanat, Shruti Pratipadana Darshanat, Tad Darshanat. It's a compound word, as I said. Tasya Sarva Shakti Upetpasya Darshanat, Tad Darshanat. Again, Sashti, Tatpurusha. And the word Taddarshanat is in Panchami, indicating reasoning. Heto Panchami, we can say. Because of Shruti's revelation alone, we come to this conclusion. It is said in the Shruti, it is said in the Vedas. We have no other means of knowing Brahman is omnipotent. Only from Shruti I come to know. So, Tad Darshanat. Now let us go to the next sutra. Next one is the 31st sutra, 165th running Brahma Sutra. Vikaranatvat na iti chet taduktam. If it is to be said that because Brahman is devoid of all the organs, instruments, it is not able to create, this has already been explained. Taduktam. I don't have to explain again, it is already explained. That's what Vyasacharya says. So another objection is to Brahman being the cause of the world is refuted here. And the sutra consists of a Purva Pakshi and Siddhanta portion both. Purva Pakshi and Siddhanta. First, let us see the Purva Pakshi portion. The first portion is Purva Pakshi. Some Purva Pakshi raises an objection. Vikaranatvat na. Up to this is Purva Pakshi. And iti chet is the reply. That is Siddhanta portion. Answer is given in the later portion. So let us do the general analysis first. The Purva Pakshi says, normally we know every power is associated with one organ or the other. If I have writing power, it is associated with running power, associated with my leg, writing power with my hand and all that. And if I have singing power, with my mouth and all that. Painting Shakti, every Shakti should be associated with a Karanam, an instrument, an organ. Yatra yatra Shakti, tatra tatra Karanam. Wherever there is Shakti, there should be an organ, an instrument. Yatra yatra Karanam, tatra tatra Shakti. Where there is an instrument, there should be potential for Shakti. And a person who lacks an organ, for example, a blind person, he does not have seeing faculty. Now the Purva Pakshi's question is, you Vedantin describes Brahman as one without any karanams, without any instruments or organs. You say achakshuhu, ashrotram, apanipadaha, all that you say. Upanishads, we have read all these shlokas in the various Upanishads. No eyes, no ears, no legs, no hands. God is formless, all-pervading, has no instruments. All that we are telling. If Brahman has no instrument, how can Brahman have the instrument-based power? How can he have a power which is instrument-based? That is the Purva Pakshi's question, for which we give the answer in two levels. One, no doubt, Brahman does not have any organs, but Brahman has got Maya Shakti, which all the faculties, in which all of them are hidden. So he has no organs, but he has got Maya Shakti, in which all the faculties are hidden. Maya Shakti is like a multi-purpose instrument. For example, like a small gadget, which can clip nails, which can polish nails, which can act as scissors, which can open bottles, which can open corks, all that we have seen. A small gadget. Maybe like a kitchen instrument. It can be a mixture, it can crush, it can grate, it can shred, it can blend. So if such a puny little human being can have an instrument which can serve so many purposes, why can't Brahman have one multi-purpose instrument with himself? And Brahman has got it, and that instrument is called Maya. Therefore, Maya includes the power of Sarva Jnanendriyani, all the sense organs, Sarva Karmendriyani, all the organs of action, Sarva Pranadeha, all the 5 different physiological functions, Prana, Apana, Vyana, Udana, Samana, Manaha, Buddhihi, Chittam, Ahankara, all the 19 faculties of Sukshma Shariram. They are all included in one Maya. Therefore, even though organs are not there, one Maya organ is there, and this is the first stage of answer. Then the next stage is, When we say Brahman has Maya, the second objection comes. If Brahman is endowed with Maya, representing all powers, then Brahman will be Sagunam. He has got endowed, that means Savisesham, some attribute, Maya attribute, because it has got Maya. Therefore, Brahman will no more be Nirgunam Brahman, Nirvisesham Brahman, but Brahman will be Sagunam Brahman. Nirvisesham, Visesham means attributes. Brahman will be Sagunam Brahman with all qualities and attributes. Therefore, the Purvapakshi says, tell me clearly, Brahman has Maya or not? Then we say, Brahman is Nirvisesham only. Then how do you contradict? Vyasacharya says, how many times should I answer this question to you? Tad Uktam. I have answered this question earlier. You are not receiving the answer. Therefore, you are repeating the question without listening to my answer. What was our reply? Brahman is both Nirvisesham and Savisesham. Nirvisesham is without any property, and Savisesham is with property, endowed with properties, attributes. Then our answer is Paramarthika Drishtya, it is Nirvisesham, and from Vyavaharika Drishtya, it is Savisesham. And when we talk of creation, etc., we are in Vyavaharika Drishti only, because Paramarthika Drishtya, creation eva nasti. Na nirodho, na chodpattir, na baddho, na cha sadakaha, na mumukshur, na vai muktaha, ityesha paramarthata. We just now read that sloka also. Na bhumi rapo, na vanni rasti, na chanilo mesti, na chambarancha. Once we talk of creation, we have come down to the Vyavaharika plane. Then we say Brahman is Savisesham with Maya Visesha. And with that Maya Visesha, Brahman has got all the powers. This is Vyasacharya's answer. In fact, Vyasacharya does not even answer this question here, but he only says, I have answered before, Taduktam. If you remember, I need not tell you again. If you don't remember, it is not worth telling you again. That's why he doesn't say. Because in any way, you are going to forget. Why answer at all? Either way, I don't reply. That is Vyasacharya's stand. So Vyasacharya does not reply here. Only we try to do it here. Take only Sagunam Brahman and we don't think of Nirgunam Brahman. This is the general analysis of this sutra. Now let us go to the word analysis. In the first word meaning, let us start with the general meaning. Vikaranatvat. Again, somebody's microphone. Please turn it off. You are a diversion to a lot of people. Galaxy S10, please. We have been telling you in every class. Otherwise, you are better off listening to the recordings later, not in the class. So if you remember, so take only Sagunam Brahman and we don't think of Nirgunam Brahman at all. So now when we go to the word analysis, let us see the general meaning. Vikaranatvat. Vikaranatvat means being without organs. Karanam. Na. Na means Brahman does not have powers. Na only is that, it is not. That alone is that, but we have to add. We have to supply. Brahman does not have powers. We have to supply. This is the Purvapakshi part. In the previous sutra, what did we say? Brahman has all the powers. That's what we said. Further, the objection is what? Is being without organs, Brahman does not have powers. Without organs, how Brahman can have powers? That's the objection. Na only is there. Na means we have to supply Brahman powers and all, as I mentioned. Iti chet. If this is the objection, tat muktam. It has been already answered. So this is the running name. Now let us see the significance of the words. First word is what? Vikaranatvat Brahman. That is without any organs. Vikaranatvat. Jnanendriyani, karmendriyani, pranadeha, antakaranani. Antakaranani means manas, buddhi, chitta and ahankara, all of them. The inner equipments. So these 19 organs are called karana. Karanani. Vikarana means vigatani, karanani, yasmat. Tad vikarana. Tasya bhavaha vikaranatvam, organlessness. Organlessness. So if you have literally translated, we have to, because of the organlessness of Brahman, or if you want to put it simply, because Brahman does not have organs, and it is in Panchami Vibhakti also, Ketu, we can say that, in the case of Ketu. Since Brahman does not have organs, who makes this statement? Purvapakshi makes a statement. Let us not forget that. Purvapakshi makes this objection. And when he makes this statement, what is the pramanam he has in mind? Purvapakshi is also an intelligent person, well-informed person. He draws pramanam from Shruti itself. He also keeps Shruti pramanam only. Because Shruti itself says, Brahman is without organs. We have gone through this so many times. And what are the Shruti statements in favor of his argument? There are so many. And Shankaracharya quotes the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad Vakyam from the third chapter, 8th section, 8th mantra. We have seen this mantra also earlier. Saho vacham etadvai tadakshara ghargi brahmana abhivadanti astulam ananu ahrasvam adirgam alohitam asneham achayam atamaha avayu anakasham asangam achakshushkam ashrotram avak amanaha atejaskam apranam amukam amatram anantaram abahyam natadashnadi kinchana natadashnadi kaschana. Everything, achakshushkam shrotram avak ashrotram amanaha atejaskam apranam amukam, all of them, no organs. And in Shvetasvatara Upanishad also, 6th chapter, 8th mantra, we have seen this. Natasya karya karanancha vidyate natasmascha natat samascha bhyatikascha drishyate parasya shaktir vividhaiva shruyate swabhaviki jnana balakriyacha. We saw this sloka just a few minutes ago. And in again, Mundaka Upanishad, first Mundaka, first section, 6th mantra. Yattad adreshyam agrahyam agotram avarnam achakshuhu shrotram tat apanipadam nityam vibhum sarvagatam susukshmam tadavyayam yad bhuta yonim paripashyanti dhiraha. All these things, agotram, avarnam, achakshuhu, ashrotram, apanipadam, again same thing. Again Mundaka Upanishad, 2nd chapter, 2nd Mundaka, first chapter, first section, 2nd mantra. Divyo hyamurta purushaha sabhahyabhyantaro hyajaha aprano hyamana shubbraha hyaksharat parataparaha. Also in Kaivalya Upanishad, apanipadoham achintya shaktihi pashyamya chaksho sashrunomya karnaha aham vijanami vivikta rupaha nachasti veta mamachit sadaham. So from all these mantras, we come to know Brahman is free from all the organs. So he has got enough Shruti support. And the next word is Nam in the sutra. It is also Purvapakshi statement. We have to understand that. Now also is Purvapakshi statement. Brahman does not have all the powers. In the previous sutra it was said, Brahma Sarva Shakti Upeta. He has got all the power. That Upeta is being negated here. Paradevata, Sarvopeta, Nabhavati. No, it's not all of those. And what is the advantage for the Purvapakshi when he says this, when he negates all this? The advantage is, since Brahman is not omnipotent, Brahman cannot create the universe. That is his conclusion. Therefore, Brahman is not Jagat Karana. Therefore, what do? You come to my Pradhanam or Prakriti and accept Pradhanam or Prakriti only is Jagat Karanam and not your Brahman. That is his advantage. He is trying to turn it to his advantage. So the ultimate aim of Purvapakshi is what? Vote for me. Like every election speech. Iti chet. If such an objection is raised by the Purvapakshi, maybe a Sankhya, Purvapakshi, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, any of the philosophers. But here, general Purvapakshi is kept in mind. It is not mentioned who is the Purvapakshi. And the next word is Tat Uktam. Tat means Tasya Uttaram, that answer to such an objection. Uktam has already been given. And where it is given? in Sutra 27. And the answer is what? Organlessness or powerlessness is from Paramarthika Drishti. And from Vyavaharika Drishti, Brahman is omnipotent. From Paramarthika Drishti, Brahman is not omnipotent. Then is it Alpashakti Mate? Brahman is neither omnipotent nor alpipotent. And it does not require any potency at all. Why? Only in the context of creation. The question is potency, creation, expression, action, the self-maintenance. All these things are all in the empirical plane. So Brahman is not Sarvagyaha or Sarvashaktihi, Sarvavyapi from Paramarthika Drishtya. Why? It's not even Sarvavyapi. Why? Only when there is Sarvam, there will be the question of Vyapakam. When space itself is not there, creation itself is not there. Space comes when creation comes. When space itself is not there, creation itself is not there. That is the question of pervading something. Therefore, Apani, Padaha, etc. are all from Paramarthika Drishti. And Maya Shaktimat is from Vyavaharika Drishti. Therefore, Brahman can be Jagat Karanam. With this Adhikaranam is also over. Namely, Sarvopeta Adhikaranam. Now let us go to the next Adhikaranam. This is called Prayojanatva Adhikaranam. And the first sutra is Na Prayojanatvat. Because the word Prayojanatvat is there, it is called Prayojanatva Adhikaranam. 32nd sutra of first pada of second chapter and 165th running Brahma Sutra. Here another objection to Brahman being the cause of the world is raised. And this is the 11th Adhikaranam. Adhikaranam means a topic. So 11th topic in this particular chapter, in this particular pada, with only 2 sutras. This is a small Adhikaranam. And the theme of this Adhikaranam is what? Why should Brahman create this world at all? When no purpose need be served for Brahman. Brahmanaha nitya triptatvat. Brahman is fully satisfied, ever satisfied. As we have seen so many places, Atma Ratihi, Atma Triptaha, Atma Santushtaha. We have seen all these descriptions of Brahman in various parts of the Upanishad. Why should this very contented Brahman create at all? Purnaha should not create world. Because any activity is born out of what? Any activity is born out of desire. Yad yaddi kurute jantuhu tattat kamasya cheshtitam. Any action is motivated by kama, desire. And Brahman, Ishwaraha, being Purnaha. What desire does he want to fulfill by creating this world? Because you want to fulfill whatever you lack, you desire something. If creation comes, it is due to the desire of Brahman, which is against the Shruti statement. Therefore, what is the purpose of the creation is the question come objection by the Purvapakshi. For which the answer is what? That is going to be given is all the activities of human beings themselves need not be backed by desire or motive. Who is that special human being? We are going to see later. The rule itself we don't accept. There are many activities for which you cannot talk about a purpose or a desire. Therefore, the rule that every action is backed by desire is negated by Siddhanti. This is going to be the answer. Now we will go to the general analysis of this sutra. This is a Purvapakshi sutra, and the answer will come in the next sutra only. The Purvapakshi says, Brahman is Ishvara in the context of creation, is all contentment. Brahman is full of contentment, all Purnaha. Since Brahman has no expectation whatsoever, Brahman has no purpose to be served through creation. By creating, he is not accomplishing anything. He has no desire accomplished. And generally, any activity should have a motive. So, sarvam karyam prayojanatvat. Because of prayojan, you have some use of the other. And there is a well-known saying also, prayojanam anuddishya na mandopi pravartate. Mandaha, even an illiterate person, will not do any activity without expecting a result. Prayojanam anuddishya. Only difference is what? An unintelligent person will have unintelligent results in view. Manda buddhihi manda palam apekshate. Maha buddhihi maha palam apekshate. Pala apekshatum sarvada vartate eva. Everybody looks for some result for doing any action. And the Purva Pakshi, he argues, if there is an action without a motive, that action must come from only a mentally deranged person. Bhranta Purushadeva, he called that person Bhranta Purusha. Bhranta Purushadeva Phalarahita Karma Agachati. So a sane person should do any activity with a result in view. Therefore, the Purva Pakshi says, creation must have a result. Brahman does not have any result in view. That's what you say. Therefore, Brahman cannot be the author of creation. This is the general analysis of the sutra. This is, as I told you, it's a Purva Pakshi sutra. Now we have to do this word analysis. First, let us see the running meaning. Na. Na means Brahman is not the cause of creation. Brahman is not creator. That is na. Prayojanatvat. Because the creation presupposes a purpose. If you want to create, there should be a purpose. So because the prayojanam, creation presupposes a purpose. This is Purva Pakshi Sutra, as I told. Now we will give the significance of the words. Na. Na means Brahman is not. Na means is not. That's us there. But Brahman we have to supply and also create. Brahman is not the creator. Prayojanatvat. Endowed with a motive or purpose. What? We have to supply that creation. Creation is the motive, the purpose for creation. Because creation should be always with the purpose. And Brahman cannot think of somebody else's benefit also. Whether he has somebody else's benefit in mind to do creation? No. Why? Because there is only Brahman, nothing else. And remember, purpose is another word for desire only. When I say I have purpose, it is another word for desire only. Therefore, Uddeshyam always indicates kama, desire. And kama always indicates atruptihi. I am not contented, so I have desire. And if that desire is not fulfilled, it will be deficiency always. I feel I lack something always, which indicates apurnata. I am not full yet. When I say aham brahmasmi, it implies aham purnosmi, aham triptosmi. They are all implied. I can never say aham brahmasmi and say I like this, I want this. If Brahman has all these things, then he can be cause of creation. Brahman does not have any one of them according to your own vision of Brahman. He has no desire of any kind. You yourself say Brahman is nitya triptaha, aptakamaha, purnaha. Tasmat Brahma na jagat karma. He cannot be the karma for the universe because he has no purpose at all. And prayojanatvat. Prayojanatvat refers to creation. Vatvam is abstract noun, prayojanatvat. Prayojanatvat is abstract noun, and vatvat is the hetu panchami. So, since every action, including creation, is based on kama, the desire, Brahman cannot be a desireless Brahman. So this is called hetu garbha visheshana. Hetu garbha visheshanam. Desireless Brahman cannot be the creator because creation presupposes desire. This is the Purva. The answer we'll just give in a nutshell, but we are going to see in detail. The nutshell is what? Creation or any action need not be backed by any desire or purpose. It cannot be a universal rule. This is the argument of the Siddhanti. In fact, every Jivan Mukta works without expecting any result or desire. A Jnani, he may do action for Loka Sangraha only, but not for expecting anything for himself, or without any Uddesha for himself. So without expecting any result or desire, a Jivan Mukta, he will still continue to work. So this is the answer we are trying to give, which we'll see later. Yo Vedadau Swara Prokto Vedante Cha Pratishthitaha Tasya Prakritilīnasya Parasamaheshwaraha Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.